Como pueden ver ustedes, todos los que estamos aquí reunidos son parte del Ejecutivo, del órgano ejecutivo, que es el del cual yo estoy encargado, a excepción de una persona. Es el fiscal general que está aquí, él no es del Ejecutivo. Y está acá por una razón bien sencilla. Y es porque le quiero pedir en público de que investiguemos a todos los que están acá.
If you're listening by way of podcast, what you just heard there was the president of El Salvador, the amazing Nayib Bukele, announce to his entire cabinet that they are all being investigated for corruption. You have got to see the stunned look on their faces. But as we'll see, this is just par for the course for this amazing president who's fast become one of the most important international leaders of civilizational populism that's taking over more and more of the world. And then
this is the result of the extreme left and PC crap and people worrying so much about offending other people.
Jerry Seinfeld is the latest comedian to go off on the woke left. You're going to absolutely love this. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your patron professor, here to help you stay sane in these insane times. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Also, as you know, we've just unveiled our brand new Turley Talks app. This is our answer to YouTube's demonetizing our channel. It's a beautiful, cancel-proof app that you can download completely free just by clicking on that link below or by going to fight.turleytalks.com. This app is our way to declare our independence from all woke platforms that hate us and to tell the international woke police precisely where they can stick it. You're going to love it. Click on that link below or go to fight.turleytalks.com right now.
Hay algo que yo sí le tengo miedo y es a dejar un mal legado. Y hay presidentes, unos presos, otros fugitivos, pero la mayoría son recordados como ladrones. Yo no quiero ser recordado como el ladrón. Entonces yo no robo, porque no quiero ser recordado como el ladrón o el corrupto. Pero hubo un presidente, el presidente Duarte, que la gente decía en ese entonces, el presidente no es ladrón, pero se rodeó de ladrones. Y en algún momento representó una esperanza para el pueblo salvadoreño. Pero si acaso es verdad que él no robó, qué tonto fue. Porque él era la esperanza del pueblo. No tocó un centavo y manchó su legado por rodearse de ladrones. Entonces a mí no me va a pasar eso. Yo no voy a ser el presidente que no robó, pero se rodeó de ladrones. Pero que me recuerden como el presidente que no robó y que no dejó que nadie robara. Y al que robó lo metió a la cárcel. Ya hay un par que ya están en la cárcel.
Again, if you're listening by way of our podcast, 15 million downloads, by the way. Thank you very much to every single one of you. But that was the Salvadoran president, Nayib Bukele, telling his cabinet that the one thing he fears most of all is leaving a bad legacy. He said to them, I will not be the president who did not steal, but surrounded himself with thieves. That is not how I will be remembered. So he brought with him the Attorney General of El Salvador and called on him to investigate every single member of his cabinet for corruption. Now, if you don't know, Nayib Bukele is the rock star of Latin American presidents. He's a hardcore civilizational populist who just a couple of months ago won re-election in an absolutely historic landslide. When all the votes were counted, Bukele won with an unprecedented 85% of the vote. And his party, called the New Ideas Party, a hardcore nationalist populist party, they won virtually every seat in their national legislature. And there's good reason for that. You may have heard about El Salvador's new mega prison or their super prison that President Bukele had built to house upwards of 40,000 prisoners at a single time. A few years back, so when Bukele first ran for president, he ran as a populist outsider who campaigned on basically draining the swamp in Salvadoran politics and restoring law and order to what had become one of the single most violent nations in the world. At one point, El Salvador had the highest murder rate on the entire planet, averaging 1 murder per hour. Drug cartels and gangs literally controlled everything. The government became little more than just a passive spectator. But now with Bukele at the helm, all of that came to a dramatic end. The homicide rate in El Salvador has plummeted. Get this, before Bukele came to power, El Salvador averaged 108 murders per 100,000 inhabitants, one of the highest in the world, 108 per 100,000. Today, that murder rate is 8 murders per 100,000. The murder rate has dropped by more than 90%. And as you saw, one of the reasons for that dramatic drop in murder rates is Bukele's creation of what's being called a super prison that houses upwards of 40,000 prisoners, many of whom are in prison for the next 40 years for gang-related activity. Bukele's massive crackdown on violent crime has resulted in the arrest of over 64,000 violent criminals, and it's changing El Salvador like never before. This is the legacy that Bukele, as we heard, is so determined to protect. And speaking of legacy, I wanted to share a really special opportunity with you to begin building your legacy through real estate. Andrew Carnegie famously said that 90% of millionaires in America are created through real estate, just like President Trump, right? I've talked to so many of my listeners who tell me that they've always wanted to invest in real estate. They just don't know how. They don't know where to begin. So I wanted to tell you about my good friend and Turley Talks sponsor, Jeff Rakowski. Jeff owns over $250 million worth of real estate across America, and he's my go-to guy for real estate advice. Jeff is leading a movement of Christian patriots who are on a mission to do real estate God's way so they can walk away from their corporate jobs and build a legacy for future generations. Jeff and his team have opened up some time to talk to you guys about your goals and about how they could potentially help make those goals a reality. It's a quick 15-minute intro call, and I really encourage you to take advantage of this. Just click on the link below or go to freeintrocall.com right now to book a call with Jeff and his team. A lot of people don't know this, but you actually don't need to have hundreds of thousands of dollars in a bank account or years of experience in order to start investing in real estate. There's a path for everyone. So click on that link below or go to freeintrocall.com to learn more about how Jeff and his team could potentially come alongside you and help you reach your goals through real estate. Slots are limited. I do expect them to fill up quickly, so don't wait. Go to freeintrocall.com and book an intro call today.
Nothing really affects comedy. People always need it. They need it so badly, and they don't get it. It used to be you would go home at the end of the day. Most people would go, oh, Cheers is on. Oh, MASH is on. Oh, Mary Tyler Moore is on. All in the Family's on. You just expected there'll be some funny stuff we can watch on TV tonight. Well, guess what? Where is it? This is the result of the extreme left and PC crap and people worrying so much about offending other people. Mm-hmm. When you write a script and it goes into 4 or 5 different hands, committees, groups, here's our thought about this joke, well, that's the end of your comedy. They move the gates, like in skiing. Yeah. Culture, the gates are moving. Your job is to be agile and clever enough that wherever they put the gates, I'm going to make the gate.
That is, of course, the great Jerry Seinfeld. He's but the latest comedian to come out against wokeness and the far left that's absolutely killing comedy. And the reason why it's killing comedy is implied in Seinfeld's critique. The British comedian John Cleese has developed this critique in detail. Ultimately, the reason why wokeness kills comedy is because it kills creativity. And that killing of creativity is entailed in the breakdown of the relational mutuality that's the prerequisite for a flourishing society. So a flourishing society requires a reciprocity of respect and tolerance of one another. I respect you, you respect me. I seek to accommodate you, you seek to accommodate me. That's how society flourishes, grounded in a mutual and reciprocal respect and tolerance. That is not wokeness. You'll notice wokeness it literally demands that we accommodate and indulge the most overly sensitive people in our culture, the people who are most easily upset, who then turn around and then deny to us any mutual or reciprocal respect and accommodation on their part. And so what happens when you organize a society around the sensibilities of the most easily upset people is then you have a very neurotic society. And from the point of creativity, if you have to keep thinking which words you can use and which you can't, then you're just going to stifle creativity. And we'll lose any real sense of cultural flourishing, most especially in the realm of comedy. And that's exactly what Jerry Seinfeld is railing against there. Fortunately, the good news is that while the woke left has a very hard time laughing, more and more people are indeed laughing at them. They are the true butt of all jokes. They're utterly neurotic. Triggering is itself the object of daily ridicule. And I, for one, am very happy to see more and more comedians like Seinfeld step up and tell the woke left precisely where they can shove it.